Pete back here with you, High Noon Leather Works, for another leather adventure. And today we're going to continue, hopefully conclude, the shoulder holster rig for the black powder pistol. And we're going to be using a few different things that I have not used on the channel before. So hopefully this will be a little different. So come on in and let's get started. We're going to actually sew or stitch this holster onto the shoulder rig. I've pre-punched all of my holes, and how I'm going to stitch that on there is with a square and then an X through the center of it, and all those will be stitched through all three thicknesses. So through the holster, through the top, and the back part of the shoulder rig. So I thought about putting rivets in there, but this is going to make it a lot stronger, a lot more durable. Then we've got the straps put together with this cross piece that goes on the back. I've got them marked where the holes go. I've got the shoulder rig marked where the holes go in here and on the back part. And thanks to my wife for helping me do that. You cannot do this by yourself because there's no way you can have those straps around it, have the shoulder rig on. I tried. It's impossible for me to do it. So thanks to my wife for helping me do that. So I've got those marked, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch holes for these Chicago screws. And Chicago screws is just another fastener you can use for leather. It's a hollow stud, and then it has a threaded cap. So instead of using a rivet to where once you put that rivet in there, it's there, you have to tear it out basically. You can see there's the screwdriver tip on that side, and then there's the stud, and it's just smooth. So you punch your holes, you put that stud through your leather, then you screw in your end cap. And what that allows you to do, yeah, it's a fastener, but the best part about it is that allows you to unscrew that, pull that stud out, and move it. So that's why I'm putting several different holes in this rig, is so that the owner can move it around. I put it in the holes in half-inch increments just so he can move it around enough to make it very comfortable for him. Without him being right here while I'm doing this, there's no way that I can set this up to rivet it or stitch it or whatever. So I thought I'd just make it adjustable. And that way the only fastener that I could use to make it adjustable was either tying it with some leather or using a Chicago screw. So I chose the Chicago screw. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to punch these holes out so that we can adjust the Chicago screws. And I'm using a 4.0 punch, and I already tested that punch. There's all different sizes. I already tested that punch on a piece of scrap leather, and in fact you can see this is the scrap piece that I used, and I punched that hole in there and then took the stud from the Chicago screw and put it in that hole and make sure that that's the size hole I needed. And then depth too, the length of the stud. I'm using 8 to 9 ounce leather, so those are 1/4 inch depth, should be perfect. And another thing that allows is you can have a little bit of twist in that leather where where you have that screw in there. So that'll allow for those straps to move a little bit instead of being stitched in there or riveted in there. Rivet may let it twist if you don't get them too tight, but if you stitch it in there, it's just going to bind up. It's not going to spin. So let's go ahead, punch our holes in our rig. And again, I put these 1/2 inch on center. There's my holes, a 1/2 inch apart, 1/2 inch on center, and I put 5 holes in there, so that gives him about a 2-inch span that he can adjust this strap. And it still looks nice. I'll come back down to the back side, do the same thing for those holes. And I did those the same way. I put 5 1/2 inch on center, so it should be plenty of adjustment. And another thing, if you do it like this, if for some reason to make it perfect fit, the customer needed it to go a 1/2 inch further down or maybe a 1/2 inch further up, that's real easy. All I do is measure over from the last hole where it's going to fit them perfect and put another hole in there, punch another hole in there, and so there's the holes in the bottom. Looks nice and professional, nice and neat. Then I can go to my straps. And again, I've already got those marked. So I'll pull my straps out. And I just need 1 hole in each strap. And then when I get the straps, the holes in the straps, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and round these off, and then I can touch it up, touch the ends of it up with the die later. So I need to find the rounding punch that's going to fit this. Looks like it's going to be, double check it, it's going to be a 25, and I'll just put it right on the edge where I cut a little off the edge, but not very much. And as soon as I see this pop free, then I know I'm through. And I don't cut very much off, just a little bit, and that gives me a nice rounded strap edge instead of a square edge. There's what it looked like before. Now I'll do the other one. And then I'm not going to do the other ends until I know how much I'm going to have, because I'll show you what I'm going to do with the other end as soon as we get this put together. So it's going to be different. It's not going to be like this. So I can take my straps now and my Chicago screws, and I'm just going to put it in the center hole, run my stud up through from the inside, and I might take my stylus and clean that hole up just a little bit. It is a pretty snug fit, but there's no way I could have went to the smaller punch, and if I would have went to the bigger punch above that, then it would have been too big. It would have been sloppy, and I don't want it sloppy. I want it fairly stiff in that hole. And there we go. So it just took a little bit of maneuvering there with that stylus. And I've got my stud in that center hole. Then I can go ahead and put my strap over the top of it. It's going to be the same way. I'm going to have to open that hole up on the back side. If I was putting the stud in from the front side where the punch was driven through, it would have went right in. It would have been snug, but it would have went in. My punching awl may be better for this. It's got a bigger end on it when you get down toward the handle. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So I'll take my screwdriver, my threaded end. I just start that with my fingers. I just snug that down until I could feel it spinning, that stud spinning on the back of my finger, and then snug it down just a little bit more. So there it is on this side, and there's the stud on the other side. And I did put it in the center hole. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. I'm going to put it in the center hole. Again, I'll clean the back side of the hole on both pieces. Put the stud in from the back side. Put the strap on, and then put my threaded cap. It's pretty easy to maneuver that with your thumbnail to get it started. And then once you have it started, grab your screwdriver and again, once I feel that spin on my finger, then I just snug it down just a little more. Don't want it super tight. But if you're turning a strap and your screw head's moving, make sure your stud's moving too. If your stud isn't moving, then crank your screw down just a little bit more, because you don't want that screw backing out as this turns. So now my strap's moving, but my screw's not moving. And that's what I want. I don't want my screw head moving, I just want my strap to move. And I'll check it on this one too. The screw head's still moving a little bit. Snug it down. Now we're in good shape. Now it's not spinning. So my straps are on that part. You see on the back and on the top. There's my cross piece to keep the straps straight across your back. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera, and you've already seen plenty of stitching in this project when I stitched the holster. So I'm going to go off camera and stitch this holster on here, and then I'll be back. So I've got this sewn on now through all three pieces, and it hangs really good. Now this barrel is 7.5-inch barrel, so there's not much you can do about it hanging down here at your belt level. I'm not sure whether he's going to want a strap on this or not, but it would be difficult to put a strap. Normally they hang below the holster itself, so this one would be a little more difficult to put a strap on. I'm sure there's a way we could figure that out if that's what he wants, but we'll just have to wait and see. I know he's going to be wearing it underneath a hunting jacket or a coat, so it may just be fine the way it is. It definitely doesn't want to come forward. It naturally, if anything, wants to go back a little bit, so I think it's going to be all right. So let's take a look. Again, we use Chicago screws, and we put multiple holes in, so that's adjustable there. Chicago screws on this strap, multiple holes, so it's adjustable. We put slides on this back piece that holds these two straps down, and it's adjustable. And then we went ahead and sewed or stitched these pieces together. And I used the same sinew, synthetic sinew that I used for the holster, so that it matches. So the next thing to do is go ahead and try this on, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with the other end of the straps. I've got these two straps that come around on the other side, and they cross in the back, and that's the straps that have the Chicago screws in them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a set of these buckle snaps, and that's what I'm going to use to hook these together on this side. But I'm going to go ahead and make them adjustable also. So it depends on the actual size of the person that's wearing it. Again, the guy I'm making this for is a little bit bigger than me, so if it fits me perfect, then it's going to be tight on him, so that's why I'm going to make this adjustable. So I'll put one on each end, and then I'll put sets of holes in it so that we can run our Chicago screw through there. So if you want to adjust it, you just take, I think I'll use 2 Chicago screws on each one. That way you don't have to worry about a flap moving around. So each one of them will have a Chicago screw in it, or 2 Chicago screws, and then each one of them will be fold it over and have two sets of holes in it so that it's adjustable. So I'm going to start there, and then they'll be adjustable each direction because these straps are very, very long, and you have to allow for the length of the buckle snap. And you want it probably up higher in the front where it's going to snap rather than under your armpit. So I'm going to start it there, and I just folded those straps over, and I'll take my scribe and I'll just put a little dot where I folded those over. That way I'll know exactly where those go in the buckles, because just like that, when I took it off, they moved, but I still have my little dot on there so that I know where I'm going to place it. So I'll bring you back over close up and we'll go from there. There's the buckle snap. Pretty common thing. Quick, easy, no metal to rust. So we'll fold this over here and we'll see which one of these we want to put. We'll see if I put the release on top. So that would be this strap here. No, that would be this strap. That one would be the bottom. Let me double check this real quick. I don't want to get these mixed up. Yeah, so this is the top strap. So I'm going to place top strap through the buckle, pull it up to my little indent that I put in my leather, and then fold that over so I can see exactly how much I want to cut off of there. Now again, I can probably just leave this without cutting anything off of it at this point and punch my holes in it and put my screws in there. Then once I feel comfortable about the length, then I can cut it off. That way I don't get myself in a backed up in a corner. So let me get the little piece of leather I used to punch my holes in there with. And I'll fold that over, and I'll use my scribe again. Put my first mark, and then I'll probably put these I'm going to put them 3/4 of an inch away from each other, because I don't, as narrow as that is, it's 3/4 inches wide. I don't want to put a bunch of holes close together and weaken the leather. So I think I'll go 3/4 inches at a time. And just like the other ones I did, I'll do I'll do 5 of them. And these will go all the way through both pieces of leather. So I'll punch this one side that I just marked, then I'll mark the other side through those holes. Alright, those are punched. Make sure I'm still on my mark to where my buckle goes. And then fold that back over. And this is on the inside, and I'll be punching this out. So all I'm going to do is make a small mark with a pin. Right in the center of the holes that I punched out. So I'm not making the hole, I'm not drawing around the hole. I'm just making a mark there so it'll punch out as I go through and punch these on this side. So now those holes match up. And there's my buckle. So I can go ahead and put my Chicago screws in there. And I'll use my awl to open that up a little bit so it goes in there with no problem. And what I'll do is I'll put one at each end for now, and then what that does is that allows you to either adjust it tighter or you can loosen it up. So I'm just going to put it in the first holes that I put in. I gotta open my hole up here. And those Chicago screw studs will fit in there snug. Open that one a little bit more. Again, I'd rather have it more tight than loose. So I'll open it up just a little bit and check it. Open it up a little bit, check it, so I don't go too far. And then when I put my screw stud in, I'm just doing that with my thumbnail. so that I don't get it cross-threaded. Once I get it started, then I use my screwdriver. And I'll just snug that down a little bit because I got to do this end. Take another stud, push it through both thicknesses of leather. And then take the screw stud, the screw cap, and then snug it down. With the screwdriver. So that's what it looks like when it's finished. I have the smooth side out, and then the screw heads on the inside. So then we go to the second one, and we do the same thing, except now we do it with the male part of the snap. Find the mark that I made with my stylus. Go back to that point, fold it over. And I'll kind of match it up to the other one as far as how far away from the buckle the first hole is, so that they match. Then I'll measure that and do it 3/4 of an inch. So I'll do 5 holes, just like the other one. All of them 3/4 of an inch apart. Open it up, punch my holes. Fold it back over, make sure I'm still on my mark. Take my pen, mark it in the center. All the way through the holes. Open it back up and flip it over. And punch this side. And again, that pen mark disappears when I punch my hole. So as you can see, you don't see any pen marks at all because they disappeared with the hole. So we'll fold that back over, find our mark. Go ahead and open those holes up just a hair. And the studs in, screw head on. And snug it down. Go to the last hole. Open it up a little bit. Put the stud in and the screw head. Snug it down with the screwdriver. And there's our second strap. So let's go ahead and try it on again, and then we'll know whether we have enough adjustment that we can make our cuts and get rid of the excess off the end. There's our snap for that side. And like I said, for me, I would need to tighten this up a little more, which I have plenty of adjustment here to tighten this up. But the guy I'm making this for is bigger than I am, so I think it's probably going to be almost perfect for him. And if not, we can go ahead and tighten these up. But this is pretty nice to put on and off because it just releases and snaps in, so you don't have to worry about trying to buckle anything. It's just a snap buckle. And then if we take the percussion cap pistol that it was made for, it drops right in. So the last thing I'll do before I call the customer and tell him that his rig's ready to pick up is I'll go ahead and put some weather sheen on it, and it'll shine it up a little bit, but it'll protect it from the weather. And another project done. So next time you come back, we'll be doing a new project. I've got something that's probably going to be maybe one episode long, so it'll be a quick project, and it's easy to do, and I think almost anybody can do it, and you can do it with scrap that you have laying around. So come on back, check out the next episode, and we'll tackle that project. So like I always say, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.